Alrighty, what's up YouTube? So welcome to the channel. First of all, if you are new, welcome. I'm not necessarily a Pokemon Unite channel myself, but I will be uploading Pokemon Unite stuff in here. Again, I'm gonna be the one that's kind of not representing the topper tier ones, you know, not the Ultras or the Masters, because I don't really have people to play with, but just kind of want you to also get the idea, because a lot of these people are the ones playing with other Pokemon YouTubers and all that, and so they have the advantage where they're all playing, you know, in the top tier. But you know, there also has to be some of us that are kind of down over here, because I do understand that different Pokemon are different in like different competitions, right? So for example, I've been hearing Gengar is like really good down here, you know, in the experts and greats, but then once you get Ultra and Masters, you don't really see him a lot. So I'm pretty much representing the ones that are just like the ones playing it pretty competitive, but not exactly competitive, you know what I mean? So anyways, if you enjoy the content today, I would appreciate it if you would hit the like button, subscribe, and just kind of hope you just enjoy my my content that I do upload. But let's get started with the first update for Pokemon Unite. Also, if you are that player that goes in ranked and just goes attacker, this goes to you. If you're a player that does not report where you're gonna go, whether you're going top, bottom, or jungle, this goes to you. And also, please be a teammate. Learn how to play the supporters. Learn how to play the defenders. Don't be those people in rank that just kind of go in there and choose an attacker when there's already three. Please. Alrighty YouTube, so before we actually start talking about all the Pokemon that received an update on this update, let's talk about the ones that did not first of all get it. So the first one was Slowbro. To me, Slowbro was one that was kind of lacking something. Obviously, he's not being used. Telekinesis and Surf is like obviously like his main thing, in my opinion. But I don't know, maybe Surf should have probably taken some more, you know, a buff. But that's all they kind of went with this guy, so it's like whatever with this guy. Alright, so next on up we have Snorlax, which in my opinion, I think he needed a little bit of a nerf. To me specifically, I feel like he moves a little bit too fast for a supporter. And not only that, he does kind of a lot of damage for being just a supporter. I mean, bro, it takes forever to kill this guy if you're one-on-one, or even just a 2v1, dude. But at least I'm glad they didn't really do much to him. I feel like he's in a good position, just that he takes forever to die, which that's his role, right? But he does do a little bit too damage. And he's kind of fast, so I don't know what's up with that, but at least that's good. Next on up, it's Garchomp. I feel like Garchomp was kind of the ones that was kind of like, you know what I mean? Like, there's something that you need to like add to Garchomp. Garchomp is one that's pretty simple to use, but he just doesn't really pack that punch. Now, both in ranked and just in social, I haven't really fought him as much, you know. That's because like people don't really like him, you know. He's just too plain. It's like buff him up too if you want to add some more versatility into this game. The other one that didn't receive another buff or nerf or anything was Crustle. Again, Crustle to me is kind of one that's kind of black. I don't really see him too much. I think nowadays people are just going more into Snorlax and into Eldegoss, if anything, or Mr. Mime. Those seem to be the top three. And Crustle just kind of one that's kind of like like no one's really choosing him. He's okay, but he's not the greatest either. So now another one was Mr. Mime. He didn't receive anything. I feel like he's in a good spot. Unfortunately, I don't have him unlocked. Again, I'm not really spending too much money on this, but he seems to be in a pretty good spot. So I guess we'll see next time, because I mean I know he's being used a little bit more, so we'll see what happens next time. Same thing with Pikachu. I think Pikachu isn't necessarily that great, but every time I fight against him, there's nothing really that crazy, except for his Unite. His Unite is kind of crazy, but that's probably something that he has going anyways, so we'll see how that goes. And last but not least, of course, Gardevoir, right? The newest character. Of course they're going to keep that thing overpowered as hell, right? Because this game is kind of pay to win nowadays, so. But not surprised there with that. But anyways, let's get started with all the ones that did get a buff and a nerf. Alrighty, so the first one that did actually receive some mostly buffs was Charizard. Now Charizard to me was one of those that kind of needed something actually. He wasn't necessarily the greatest, but he wasn't the worst either. He was kind of there. It just really kind of depended on the person that really played him. Now Charmander, in my opinion, it's kind of garbage, and Charmeleon's kind of there. It's when until you get to Charizard where it's like okay. But anyways, the move that got upgraded was Flamethrower. So the cooldown got reduced, which is I think is pretty good, and also the effects on opposing Pokemon got strengthened. After that, Fire Punch effects on opposing Pokemon got strengthened. Now we got Fire Blast, which the cooldown reduced and effects on opposing Pokemon strengthened. So overall, it seems like he got a buff, which is pretty cool. I like seeing different Pokemon. I don't necessarily know if he'll change anything. I know there's like some little meta where you give him the amplifier thing, so he gets his Unite a lot faster now. But other than that, I'm pretty happy Charizard's getting a buff because he wasn't really being used anywhere. So hopefully now this changes it, and hopefully we'll see if he's good enough. Next on the list is Talonflame. Now to me, Talonflame is one that I just kind of think he sucks in reality. There's times when I'm playing in ranked and I see people choose him and I'm just like, dude, no, switch. It's like I've never really had trouble with this guy. The only move that kind of does damage is Fly at some point, and his Brave Bird, or like whichever one it is, that one does a lot of damage, which could be his Unite actually. But anyways, Acrobatics, damage dealt to opposing Pokemon increase, so that's a good. Aerial Ace, damage dealt to opposing Pokemon increase once again. Now the Aerial Ace Plus, damage dealt to opposing Pokemon increased. Now Fly, damage dealt to opposing Pokemon increase. So this guy straight out just got pure freaking buffs, which is pretty cool. We'll see how much damage he does. He's one of those that I personally don't have either. But who knows, maybe if he turns out to be really good, I'll end up buying him just like some of you guys probably will. Now this is one that I'm also excited about. Just the starters, dude. Like the starters pretty much needed buffs. So the first thing with Venusaur was the Sludge Bomb. Damage dealt to opposing Pokemon increase, so that's a good. Effects on opposing Pokemon strengthen. So I'm assuming like the poison's kind of gonna either do more damage or it's gonna stay longer for a longer period of time. So I don't know. Petal Dance. Now this is a move that I really enjoyed using on him, but it says move upgrade. I don't necessarily exactly know what that means. There's two things in here that it's kind of confusing. It's move upgrade and move downgrade. So hopefully this means like they're like kind of buffed it up, but they could have just used increase, you know what I mean? Anyways, Solar Beam, the cooldown is reduced, so that's kind of a plus for him. And finally, it's Unite move Verdant Anger, damage dealt to opposing Pokemon increase. So technically this guy got pure buffs. Again, that move upgrade is kind of confusing to me. Let me know what you guys think that means, but it seems like it's a good thing, right? Because I mean, this guy needed it a lot. I've seen this guy been used a lot in ranked. I'm just like, bro, this guy barely does any damage. At least I haven't had any trouble with them, so we'll see. Hopefully it's a good thing. Absol is the next one that they attacked. So it was basic attack, bug fixes. So maybe there's just some bugs. It doesn't really specify if it's like a nerf or a buff, you know what I mean? Night Slash, damage dealt to opposing increased, and damage Sucker Punch, damage dealt to opposing Pokemon increased. So it looks like both of his moves are getting increases, which is cool. You know, let's have some more metas out there. Absol is one that I haven't really had issues with as much. I tried using them once. Didn't know how to use them, to be honest, but it was my first time, so hopefully maybe I'll kind of get into those where I can use them a little bit more. I do actually happen to have them, so we'll see. Hopefully with this buff, it's pretty good. Next on up, we got Wigglytuff. So the following stats have been increased: defense, special defense, and HP. So literally overall, I think this is the only Pokemon that actually got increases in like defense, special defense, and HP. Everyone else was just like move specific or bug fixes. So this is the only one that actually got some health and stuff into that. So it's pretty cool. Hopefully we can, you know, start seeing a little bit more Wigglytuff other than just Eldegoss, Mr. Mime, and your typical Snorlax. Anyways, Double Slap, damage dealt to opposing Pokemon increased, effects on opposing Pokemon strengthened. So to me personally, Double Slap was a move that was actually doing a lot of damage. Okay, it's a move that I actually really liked. Didn't really play Wigglytuff as much, but I don't know what the effects on a Pokemon strengthen. Maybe it's because like it kind of like, you know, when it's slapping them, it like stuns them a little bit, so maybe afterwards they're still stunned a little bit. Not too clear on that. Sing, effects on a Pokemon, effects on opposing Pokemon strengthen. So maybe they'll either, because I did notice with Wigglytuff you had to be really close, or it took some time for you to put them to sleep. Compared to Snorlax, Yawn were just kind of right immediately. With Wigglytuff, I noticed that like it took a couple seconds and then they kind of fell asleep. So hopefully it's a lot faster. And then of course Dazzling Gleam bug fixes. So don't really know what that really kind of goes for. Now next on up, everyone's favorite supporter, Eldegoss. Now these are ones that I don't really understand. Again, I don't really play Eldegoss too much, but anyways, it's Cotton Guard. It got cooldown lengthened and HP restoration decreased. So I don't know how you would define cooldown lengthened. Like, does that mean the cooldown has just been expanded to where like from 5 seconds to like 7 seconds? You know what I mean? But it did get a nerf with HP restoration. So I guess it's pretty cool because, dude, there were some times where this guy was taking forever just to die just because like it kept on healing itself, right? And actually talking about that, Cotton Spore, it got cooldown reduced, so that's actually a good thing. Effects on a Pokemon, effects on opposing Pokemon strengthened. This move's defense, special defense increase has been strengthened. So overall, Cotton Spore seems like it got pretty good in general. Its Unite move, Cotton Cloud Crash, its HP restoration got decreased. So maybe now, you know, it won't be as crazy and we can still probably have a fight after, you know, Eldegoss has used his or her Unite. So we'll see about that one. Alright, so now this is probably the biggest one right here. This is probably the most OP character in the game. It's the most used, like especially like in the top ranked, you know, players. This was the Pokemon to use, Cinderace. Now Cinderace was one that, you know, really can just pack a punch on you. But anyways, this guy I think literally got pure nerfs overall. So let's go and read them. The following attacks have been decreased. Attack, Blaze Kick, damage dealt to opposing Pokemon decreased. Feint, move downgrade. Now again, these are the ones that don't really like what does downgrade mean, like damage wise? In that case, just kind of say like, well, decreased, right? And his Fireball, actually his Fireball damage dealt to opposing Pokemon increased because everyone was just choosing Blaze Kick over Fireball. So now we'll have to see. But overall, this guy, his attack just got, how bad? We don't know. We'll find out in a few days. But we'll see. Oh, buddy. So I know this was a really good one for a lot of people because a lot of us that are not necessarily up in the Masters or Veteran, the ones we're still kind of lower, we're having difficulty with Gengar. Now, I understand people are saying that Gengar is actually not much of a problem. The higher you get on the ranks, it's like the less you see him. But for us who are still kind of down here, this guy's still a problem. And it's mainly his freaking Hex. So Hex is one that I'm still trying to figure out, but from what I'm understanding, it's like you pair it with Sludge Bomb and Hex. So when you use Sludge Bomb and you poison someone, that Hex just kind of keeps on kind of cycling over and over again. And that's where you're like, what the hell, dude? This guy can literally like almost 1v3 people. And I've seen that. I'm just like, bro, this guy is busted. But the way people are actually kind of countering him is by using full heals. So that's kind of one way to counter him. But overall, let's talk about his things. So his basic attack, bug fixes, don't really know what that means. Shadow Ball, damage dealt to opposing Pokemon increased. So that's pretty cool. You know, maybe more Pokemon, or maybe more people will be using Shadow Ball. Hex, move downgrade. Again, what the hell does that mean? I don't know what that means. Maybe it'll take longer for it to charge or something. It makes no sense. And then Dream Meter got moved upgrade. So what does upgrade and downgrade mean? Is it increase, decrease? But that, why not just use those? But anyways, Sludge Bomb seems to be untouched because it was Hex that was kind of broken, right? So we'll see. Hopefully this fixes it. Who knows? Now this is one that's actually quite a shocker. So a lot of people, again, down here, not up there in Veteran, Ultra, and Veteran, and you know, Masters. Zorora is an issue. This guy does a lot of damage. So what do? They nerf some of them and then they buff up some of them. Doesn't really make sense. But anyways, here's what's up with Zorora. Spark, bug fixes. It could be both nerf or a buff, I don't know. Wild Charge, damage dealt to opposing Pokemon increased. Cooldown reduced. Now, I think a lot of people were just using Discharge, and maybe that's why they kind of want to make them both competitive, but overall, dude, Discharge does a lot of damage. Wild Charge is one that I barely touched, so I don't necessarily know how bad it is, but again, Zorora is a really good Pokemon, and he's getting a buff. It makes no sense. But the one that I am happy about is his Unite move, Plasma Gale. Damage dealt to opposing Pokemon decreased. Good. Because there was just times where I was battling him, and all of a sudden, a little timer's kind of clicking. I'm just like, what the hell just happened? And I'm like, oh, it's a Zorora. Gotcha. You know what I mean? Next on up, we got Kramer. So, Whirlpool, damage dealt to a Pokemon, opposing Pokemon decreased. Now, again, to me, I feel like Kramer is one that's really good at the beginning of the stage. His Whirlpool will just dominate people. But then afterwards, he's kind of not the greatest. So, it got decreased already. Okay, pretty cool. And then Dive, damage dealt to opposing Pokemon increased. So, again, haven't really had much of an issue or been able to use this guy because there's just better options. But it seems like he kind of, his main problem was Whirlpool, which got the nerf. So that's good. So we'll see what Dive does. The Machamp got basic attack bug fixes. He's one that I haven't really had much of an issue. Now, I know that some of the moves have been an issue. Like, for example, Cross Chop. I've heard that one was kind of, a little OP at times. But anyways, Cross Chop, damage dealt to opposing Pokemon decreased. And then Close Combat, damage dealt to opposing Pokemon increased. Close Combat is one that looks like you kind of have to aim right. If not, you missed, and then there's not really much you can do. So the fact, I guess, they're buffing it is pretty cool, I guess. But I don't know. We'll see. Now, next on up, Lucario, my main and my personal favorite Pokemon. So he technically, from what you can see, he didn't technically get a buff or a nerf. It just says Power Up Punch got a bug fix, which I don't know what that meant. I don't think Power Up Punch was actually like one that was doing a lot of extra damage. Now it packs a punch, but you got so auto remember. But you also have to remember you have to charge it and you have to aim right with it. So I'm just glad they didn't really do anything. I don't know what that means. Same thing with Bone Rush. It just says bug fixes. So maybe it was between Bone Rush and Extreme Speed, where like when you would use Bone Rush, you would get Extreme Speed really quick. So maybe that's the issue, hopefully. But other than that, hopefully Lucario doesn't get touched. He's really good. I love him. He's my main. Thank you for not really touching him. Second and not least is we got the main ninja, Greninja. So only thing about him is this basic attack, bug fixes. So I don't know. Haven't really touched him yet. I'm gonna get him free in like 2 days. That's why I haven't spent the money on him. But he seems to be pretty good. Does a lot of damage. Haven't really had an issue with him where it's like, yo, this thing is just way too OP. You know what I mean? He seems to be in a good find. He seems to be in a good way, so we'll see. And finally, but not least, we have a Alolan Ninetales. Now, this one's another one of my favorite Pokemon to use. Only thing it's getting is its Snow Warning. It's a bug fix. Don't really know what the issue with Alolan Ninetales was, but that's kind of it. And that's all it really says on all the information. It was just pretty much talking about that. Doesn't really say anything about any map changes or any new Pokemon being brought in, just the ones in the wild. That's pretty much about it. Just they talked about those, and that's pretty much it. So yeah, how's that for our first little update? What do you all think? Do you guys agree with some of these? Do you guys disagree with some of these? Let me know down in the section below which ones you would change, or is there a Pokemon, Gardevoir, that they didn't like really fix, or maybe some that needed a buff. But anyways, thank you guys for checking out the video. Really appreciate it. Hopefully we'll see you guys around. If not, all cool. Thank you for checking it out, and have fun playing Pokemon Unite. Remember, this is a pay to win game. Peace.